All right, so check out this cool story, and this is a map to show you kind of what happened. But long story short, basically my kayak drifted away and I found it really far away. It was my friend's kayak, actually. So I was right here, actually, fishing at night. This is the West Palm Beach Inlet. I was like right here anchored. The current was kind of pulling me this way, and I had the kayaks tied off the back of my boat. And I kind of looked back and it was nighttime, and I noticed one of my kayaks was gone. And so the current basically like moves up this way. So I wasn't sure if my kayak like got pulled into the inlet because the tide had just changed, or if it kept going this way. And for whatever reason, the tracker was not registering that night. So I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and the tracker said my kayak was like over here on land, right? So the next day I motor sail out the inlet. I come up here, I anchor my boat like around this region or like around here, and I kayak to shore looking for my other kayak, right? And as I got to shore and I'm walking around looking for where my beacon's registered at, as I'm on shore, it decides to update. So then it shows me that my kayak is like right about here. So at this point in time, I kayak out to my sailboat, which is here. I get in my sailboat, and now I'm sailing up to here to like try to find my kayak, right? And then it registers like right here at the head of the Jupiter Inlet. So I'm in my boat heading up this way, contacting some friends in Jupiter, like, hey, I think someone's got my kayak. I think what happened is somebody like must have picked it up on a boat, right? And like brought it into the Jupiter Inlet. So I took my sailboat into the Jupiter Inlet that day. And the way you get in the Jupiter Inlet is you got to kind of like come, so it's really shallow. Like out here, it's really shallow. If you want to get in this inlet, you want to come this route right here. And you want to like travel south about 100 yards off the shore, and then you can kind of like make your way out. But you want to be very careful. So I did that. I went up to the Jupiter Inlet. I came all the way up here, and I found my kayak in a parking lot thanks to the tracker. And I gave the person who was friends with the guy whose truck I found it in, like, I gave one of them $15, another guy $5 just for retrieving it, you know. Wanted him to have something, but yeah. And so then I came and motor sailed back to the Palm Beach Inlet right here. So that was the first day I've ever jumped inlet to inlet. And this is kind of a dangerous inlet if you're not sure what you're doing. And the current rips really strong here, but I was actually able to make it in this inlet here. I have a 5.5 foot keel, which means the bottom of my boat goes down 5.5 feet. So if it's 5.5 foot deep, the bottom of my boat is on the bottom of the water, or the bottom of the ocean or whatever. So I actually was able to make it inside this inlet with just an hour and a half left until max low. But if I would have, you know, you have to know what you're doing. You want to come this way here, and sometimes the bars will change depending on the weather. So I recommend trying it at high tide if you ever want to try it and when it's calm. It was a pretty calm day, in my opinion. So, but kind of a funny story. Like literally, my kayak floated all the way from this inlet, and I found it in a parking lot thanks to the Apple AirTag in this inlet. And so, praise God, I was able to retrieve and get my friend's kayak back. So really funny, kind of a funny story, honestly. Looking back, I was glad it kind of happened just because it like made for a cool story. And then it was on my way back with the kayak. I went out a good ways, maybe like 5 miles offshore, and I ran like some trolling lines, and I caught my first bonita. I caught my first ever fish. I think it's the first time I've trolled on my boat that I can remember, maybe. And I caught a few fish on the way back, so it was pretty cool. And God bless. Boom, 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 boom.